right, welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have RYAH Group Incorporated. It trades on the CSE under the symbol RYAH. It also has an OTC Pink listing under the symbol RYAHF and is a connected device and big data and technology company focused on valuable predictive analysis in the global medical plant and nutraceutical intake industry. Please welcome its CEO, Gregory Wagner. Welcome, Gregory.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks for having me. Thank you to the Emerging Growth Conference for having me this morning. I hope all of our listeners are enjoying the last few days of summer. I know I'm trying to do that, back to work. Thanks for participating. We'll pass this very large statement. I like to tell a story. We'll use the slides as a tool to guide us. I'll tell a story and then hopefully we'll have time at the end to answer a few questions. Very briefly, my background, I am a former Wall Street veteran, a senior executive in financial services. My last role was Global Head of Equity Prime Services for the Royal Bank of Scotland out of London, where I managed about 300 people and about 230 million sterling in P&L, managing about $60 billion in assets under custody, mainly for hedge funds. I have an economics degree, an MBA in finance, and I have a certification in innovation and strategy from Harvard University. I am a good executor. I do know how to turn a vision into dollars. I know how to hire talent and retain talent. So frankly, I've had a fantastic career in my previous life. I don't need to be here, but when I saw how much data this company has been collecting in plant-based medicine over the last 5 years, I was completely floored. And I believe that data in cannabis and plant-based medicine is the new gold in this space. So what is RYAH? RYAH has evolved. The company's been around since 2014. I've been with the company about two and a half years. The company has raised about $9 million between 2014 and 2019, and another 4 million Canadian during its RTO and subsequent listing. The company has evolved dramatically from what we would call a strain recommendation engine, similar to what you would consider a weed maps. But as a result of the COVID crisis, we finally found our niche. And we understood that remote dosing and telehealth solutions, particularly in plant-based medicine, isn't going away. So today, RYAH is what I like to call a pioneering IoT device and digital care platform. We have created a suite of IoT devices completely controlled by mobile applications that we build in-house. These devices are designed to capture complex data points to better enable doctors and clinics to create highly personalized, highly customized dosing regimens. This is a medical story that is not a recreational story. And we believe that we are looking to solve a massive data gap in plant-based medicine. While we see regulation in the United States slowly shifting toward a more openness to adopting plant-based medicine in lieu of opioids and complex drugs that obviously are difficult for patients to handle, and we also see a cultural acceptance toward an adoption of plant-based medicine, particularly in the United States. We're starting to see that shift. And that is because, well, frankly, we all know this, more Americans died last year, over the last 14 months, overdosing from complex opioid drugs than all the Americans that died in the Vietnam War combined. So we know that this isn't going away. We know that the adoption toward a plant-based medicine product to help supplement or potentially replace complex opioid drugs is on the horizon. The problem is that regulation is still bifurcated in the United States and around the rest of the world. And that is because we believe they lack the appropriate data to make informed regulatory decisions. Our goal is to close that gap by not just participating in closing the data gap, but we're looking to lead the world in that data analytics solution. And of course, as I mentioned before, our data is designed to help doctors and patients create customized dosing regimens. This is a very complicated plant. It affects all sorts of demographics differently. It's evolving dramatically and is probably twice as strong as it was 20 years ago. So again, we believe that data is the new gold in this space, to unpack that. And finally, our ultimate goal through machine learning tools and our patent and AI technology is to encourage big pharma to make medical breakthroughs in plant-based medicine. And that potentially could be an exit for the company. So there are, right off the bat, I'd like to discuss 3 wins that we've had over the last year and a half to show you how far this company has come since we redefined our approach. Number 1, we're a post-revenue story. Number 2, this company has received the first patent in artificial intelligence ever granted in plant-based medicine data analytics. That patent has been granted, it is not pending. Number 3, we have probably 365,000 patients providing data over one of our applications that has been active since 2015, capturing complex structured and unstructured data points. I would say we're probably a top 7 largest privately owned database in cannabis in the world. Number 4, we have recently been selected to participate as a dose-controlled, dose-measuring device for what we think is the world's largest clinical trial ever to be conducted in cannabis out of the United Kingdom. We were selected because we were able to create customized APIs that deliver real-time data points directly to the clinic's EHR system. The trial is so big, we created a customized mobile application on the App Store and Google Play so that when a patient logs into that clinical application, the dosing is locked on our smart inhaler, the temperature is locked, and the questionnaires are customized just for this trial. We have done a great deal of mitigating the variables associated with clinical trials. So if a patient is not doing well during this particular trial, let's say they gave a 2 out of 10 on a couple of their feedback surveys post-dosing, the clinic is alerted immediately and they have the option to reduce the dosing or take that patient off the trial. And we believe that real-time API analytics is one of the reasons why the MHRA has approved that trial. RYAH is a suite of IoT products. On the left, you see our smart inhaler that is controlled by a dedicated mobile application on the App Store and Google Play that we control. That application turns on the product, it turns off the product, and when the patient reaches their dosing limit, it stops the product from heating. Almost impossible to overdose with our devices. With our QR code technology, it is nearly impossible to put in illicit product in the RYAH devices. Without a QR code, the app does not turn on the device. On the right side, you see the RYAH Smart Patch, which has basically been in development for the last 18 months and it is ready for production. Essentially, this is a patch with a brain on it that sits on your shoulder or any part of your body. It allows a patient to turn on and off their dosing with their iPhone. Never been done before in plant-based medicine. And on the bottom left, we have a RYAH Tincture Smart Pen, which allows a precise mixture of up to 3 different medicines and also backed by a customized mobile application, providing real-time data back to doctors and clinics. That currently is in development stage. All of this is wrapped around the RYAH MD platform, which allows doctors to prescribe medicine on a dashboard. And when a patient opens up their RYAH app, their prescription or recommendation is waiting for them. When they accept that prescription, ultimately, the device will be locked in temperature setting and dosing setting as per the doctor's requirements. This is a full remote dosing and remote telehealth solution. RYAH MD is expected to be live in approximately 60 days. So what are the 3 competitive moats? Well, actually now it's 4, I'm mistaken. The first competitive moat for RYAH is that we own all of our IP. We have patents pending on all our devices. We own all the schematics and Gerber files associated with our hardware. All of our software is built in-house. It's very important that our audience understands that we own this IP. There are a number of other providers out there that simply license out technology or license out hardware and do not own the patents associated with their products. Number two, this is a device and data story. Ultimately, we're becoming agnostic to the delivery mechanism, whether it's an inhaler, whether it's a transdermal patch, and we're becoming agnostic to the type of medicine. Devices and data is a very critical component that makes us very hard to find appropriate competitors in this space. I don't like to name competitors, but let me give you an example. There are wonderful medical device companies in Germany that create beautiful medically inspired devices, but they have no data. We have great peers and competitors that are scraping millions of points of structured and unstructured data on the web to provide insights and feedback, but they don't have any devices and they don't have any captive patient dosing data. As far as I can tell, RYAH is the only company that has been able to marry hardware, software, and data analytics in a single plant-based medicine ecosystem. Our third competitive moat is that we are not married to cannabis. This is not a cannabis story, although our customers and our clients, we don't touch any cannabis and any medicine. We provide devices and data. Of course, with the inhaler, cannabis is a very popular method for clinical trials, and we partner with clients who can handle medicine. They fill our cartridges and patches with their medicine and deliver to their patient network. However, we are also becoming agnostic to the medicine type. Our wellness line that we'll be developing over the next few months for the RYAH patch will involve over-the-counter solutions such as a caffeine energy patch, a melatonin sleep patch, and a CBD calming patch. We will own both the formulation and the device and data and have the full revenue stream in that particular strategy. We're looking at things like female hormone therapy. There are other types of pediatric solutions that we could be using for the patch. So again, I like to consider ourselves more of a med tech story that is wrapped around a cannabis theme than just a cannabis company. And the fourth and most important, in my view, competitive moat is that this is a medical story, guys. This is a medically inspired and medically certified company. We are IEC 60601 medical safety test certified on our smart inhaler. We just completed an ISO 13485 and MDSAP medical device standard audit procedure audit. Now, we're not finished with the results of this, but I'm feeling very good about our medical certification. And why is that important? Medical certification puts us in a room of only 2 to 3 competitors worldwide. It is a very hard thing to do, to be medically certified. And once a company is medically certified, of course, statutory insurance reimbursement for their products become into play. Once our products are reimbursable, then we become less price sensitive to the pricing, as our patients and our clients' patients will be able to receive reimbursement. Like I said, this is nearly a blue ocean strategy. 2 to 3 competitors worldwide have medical device certifications in plant-based medicine. It's a very lonely and hard road and a big investment, but we feel like we've got there, and that will allow us to have a clear path to a 10-year track record. How do we make money? This is a post-revenue story. Like I mentioned, RYAH provides devices and data to medical handlers, licensed producers, and clinics. You're not going to find a RYAH device in a gas station or a hookah lounge. This is a medical device, a medically inspired story. Our partners fill our cartridges with their medicine and distribute to their patient network. So we make money on the hardware of the devices as a one-time fee, and the recurring revenue associated with the cartridges and disposable patches is a razor blade model. At some point, we'd like to give away those devices and monetize more our data analytics platform and reduce barriers to entry for using our suite of IoT products. Interesting enough, we also have a software service where we provide customized mobile applications for different trials, as I mentioned, in different countries with different branding. Our revenue stream, surprisingly, already is a good mix between shipping hardware around the world and delivering software solutions, where the return on investment on software is obviously significantly higher. Again, the clinical case study is a 5-year clinical trial out of the United Kingdom. And this is a trial we're looking to replicate worldwide. We're providing devices, data analytics, and customized software. This could be up to a 20 million cartridge order for RYAH over 5 years. And what's interesting about this trial is that in year 3, the initial results of this trial, which is determining the efficacy of chronic pain on a single strain of cannabis, will be delivered to the NHS. Now, if the NHS determines that this trial was effective in treating chronic pain, RYAH could be open to an additional 7 million chronic pain patients in the United Kingdom. We would have to be selected because we're inside the study, and we are looking to replicate this all around the world. If you look at our footprint, we have basically covered the European continent. That is because regulation in Europe is very conducive to medical device, and obviously, unlike the United States, there is no bifurcation between state and federal regulation. So we simply followed the regulatory path. We are now turning our attention back to North America, where we see the administration, the current administration, becoming again more open to a broader medical cannabis and plant-based medicine solution. We have recruited and hired in the last 60 days over 120 years of senior medical device experience to help us penetrate large clinical networks, hospitals, and research centers. We're talking ex-Johnson & Johnson senior medical device retired executives on our team. Ex-Pfizer senior retired executives on our team. Why are they working for us? And why are they working for us practically for free? Number one, I believe that they believe in the company and our mission and vision. Number two, they have a beautiful Rolodex and they want to use their network to continue doing good. And number three, their wives or partners probably want them out of the house and keep busy. And we'll take it. Our pipeline consists of both product launches and, again, building that competitive moat in medical device certification. Once we receive, and I do firmly believe we will receive ISO 13485 certification and MDSAP certification, which is the baseline for all global medical device certifications in countries around the world, we will go directly to Health Canada and seek Class 2 medical device certification for our inhaler. We will go directly to the TGA in Australia and seek medical device certification. We are in the queue to receive European EU medical device registration, MDR, for our medical device and inhaler. And of course, we have already submitted our application for medical device certification for the MHRA. Again, when we talk about medical device certification and devices and data, that puts us in a very unique category with very little competitors who have all of those tools. Upcoming, as I mentioned, RYAH MD is a complete doctor-patient collaboration tool that will allow doctors to administer and recommend doses of cannabis, plant-based medicine, or other medicines to patients. And when those patients accept those recommendations or prescriptions, depending on the country you're in, the device will actually be calibrated automatically to meet the temperature and dosing as prescribed by the doctor. Never been done before in plant-based medicine. With the launch of the Smart Patch, we also will be announcing the launch of our wellness line. Again, think about large pharmaceutical chains in the South and Midwest who have truck drivers who are going through their routes all the time. Truck drivers have long routes. They drink a lot of coffee. They have to go to the bathroom and take truck stops. What if I told you we were looking to mitigate that expense by providing a caffeine energy patch to allow these truck drivers to continue on their routes and remain awake? What if I told you you could program your Smart Patch at 5 o'clock in the morning to turn on and heat up, opening up the pores of your skin, administering medicine so that when you usually wake up with chronic pain, by 7 a.m., you're fully medicated. And then that medication will drop off so that you're not medicated all day. This is the type of wellness and control around formulations and devices and data that we're looking to bring forward. We are, again, uniquely positioned for both hardware and software, health and wellness, and in plant-based medicine. I cannot stress enough that this is not just a cannabis story, but this is a device and data story across a wide range of plant-based medicine treatments and nutraceuticals. And while we are fairly well funded, we are absolutely not shy about looking at acquisitions. There are a number of our previous competitors who simply did not make it through the COVID crisis, and their acquisition potential ranges from asset sales to gathering IP to also looking at potential additional products into our product suite. Because again, we're looking to become agnostic to the type of delivery mechanism. For us, the end game is data. And eventually, if we create enough critical mass in data, we'll start to monetize that data through machine learning tools and our AI patented technology. All of our data sits on a HIPAA-compliant cloud on AWS. All of the patient's data, the patient personal data, which we do not collect, but if we did, it would be protected under the AWS HIPAA-compliant cloud. We're getting so good at software development that we're able to geo-fence our different users on our applications based on their region to ensure that we meet different security, regulatory, and privacy requirements such as GDPR in Europe and obviously HIPAA in the United States. As you can see, we do have a strong patent portfolio. We talked about our safety certifications, our pending health certifications, which will certainly bring us to the next level of our scale and leverage. As you can tell by my voice, I'm extremely confident to be with this company. Like I said, I don't have to be here. I'm very happy to be here. We have a number of products, technology, software, and hardware, and we continue to write code every single day in-house, which further separates ourselves from the rest of the pack. We're very excited about the prospects. A number of our deals, as you see it in the last screen here, these are not letters of intent. These are not memorandums of understanding. These are enforceable distribution agreements with minimums. So unfortunately, due to COVID, everything's behind 15 to 18 months, but now we're starting to see clinical trials happening in the United Kingdom. We have a trial happening in University of Miami soon. We have a trial happening in Italy. We're looking to become a world leader in data analytics in plant-based medicine. That's the end of my story. It was a little bit early, but I'm happy to take a few questions from the team at this time.
Thank you, Gregory. We do have quite a few questions, and we got a little bit of time left. So let's get into it. From Ted Monks, will RYAH have plans to list on other exchanges?
Very good question. Yes. So the decision to be listed on the CSE was done before I came to the company. We are already in discussions with potential listing on the London Stock Exchange AIM. About 80% of the company's revenues will be coming from the European continent for the next year to 2 years. That is our view. And we firmly believe that our capital markets position should be more aligned with our product positioning. We would expect an LSE listing sometime in Q2 2022, which is about the same time that we should be expecting to have a profitable run rate.
Thank you. Lenny Fawcett is asking, why do you believe your stock is worth buying today?
You know, that's a good question. There's this old saying that you can either mine for gold or you could sell pickaxes. And without sounding rude or arrogant, we have both. We have the devices that are used by patients and doctors and clinics. Those are the pickaxes. And we have the gold. We have the data. We have millions of points of structured and unstructured data that we need to normalize, and interpret, and then monetize. So if you're interested in investing in a company that doesn't touch cannabis, but is associated, effectively connected to plant-based medicine, but you can see the vision of this becoming a med tech play, then I have nothing else to say. I think this is a smart move.
Patrick Tortorich asks if you can expand on the Milan University study and the significance of it.
Yes, good morning, Pat. We haven't talked in a while. So the Milan study is designed to create an entire conversion curve around what doctors prescribe and what patients intake. Let me give you an example. Normally, doctors provide milligrams in THC. So if a doctor wants a patient to intake CBD or THC, they'll say, okay, I'm recommending or prescribing 20 milligrams of THC for you to have once a day or twice a day. Now, when a patient opens up their RYAH app and they use their smart inhaler, they're inhaling milliliters of vapor. How do they convert that? Well, through the University of Milan, we've already created an entire conversion curve so that at any strain, at any temperature, based on any dose recommendation by the doctor in milligrams, we could tell that patient automatically how many milliliters of vapor they need to inhale. That saves a barrier of entry from the doctors having to do and worry about whether or not they're having the right dose. It saves the patient from having to figure out what milligrams and milliliters is. And it gives us a leg up in connecting the doctors and patients through RYAH MD. Make no mistake, this milligram to milliliter conversion curve has never been done before. And across the entire spectrum of strains, THC count, doctor dosing, we have closed a massive gap and barrier to entry. The Milan study is designed to validate our conversion curve and publish those results.
Thank you, Gregory. I think we have time for one more question from Adam Renkine. What is the firm's strategy as it relates to opportunities and partnerships with US-based multi-state operators, as the firm is focused on the medical opportunity rather than recreational growth? Can this also be applied to big box pharmacies and retailers?
Absolutely. Make no mistake, we are working very hard with big line pharmacies for the wellness line. MSOs, frankly, haven't been as easy as a market to penetrate as the clinics and clinical trials. We're providing for clinics and clinical trials a full software ecosystem where patients will use a QR code. They will actually download their demographics, the entire dosing session, all wrapped around the entire lab results of the strain associated with that dosing session. So why is that important? Think about this. A doctor or a clinic can look at what was the difference between the dosing date and the harvest date of that plant. Did it affect that person or demographic differently? There's an incredible amount of data that we can unpack, either through our free dashboards that we provide to the clinics or through a raw data API solution. Now, I believe that these MSOs in the United States will want to collect that kind of data in a different way. They're going to want to understand why a patient walks into a dispensary, tries a particular strain with a device, and they never come back. Nobody knows why. We're going to tell them why. You'd be surprised how many patients actually fill out their post-session questionnaires because they can look on their application, on their calendar, what was the right dose, at the right strain, if they're multi-morbidity or multiple efficacy goals that work for them. They can bring that product and that application back to the dispensary and work with that dispensary to determine a better strain and better dosing regimen. And that creates a more intimate client and dispensary relationship and bud tender relationship with that client. And we think that is a valuable tool that the MSOs who haven't quite caught up to that will be looking for down the road. So I am extremely confident in our clinical trial platform, and we're working much harder to get the MSOs on board.
Well, Gregory, we are out of time, but we really enjoyed your presentation, and we have lots of questions for you that we're going to send to you so you can answer on your own time. But please come back and present again, and good luck with everything. We look forward to your updates in the future.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody for joining.
All right. Thank you all. Remember, as we transition to the next presenter, you're going to see a black screen, but stay with us because we're coming right back.